I planted 1 acre of coffee, and in this video I'll be sharing with you how to get these seedlings, what to look out for as you're getting these seedlings, how to prepare your land, and in general all about coffee. And of course, stay tuned and we shall definitely dive in. At the end, you may never know, you may want to plant coffee. Exactly, let's get into it. So before we start the planting processes and all that, first let's get to know a little bit about our coffee. Now, coffee here in Uganda, we have two varieties. We have Robusta and Arabica. Robusta is usually characterized by the broad leaves, while Arabica, small leaves. Arabica is also usually grown in the hills, while Robusta is grown in the valleys, just like one behind. So, a kilo of fully processed Robusta coffee that you've dried at the mills, you could sell it for roughly 8,000. At least that was the price last season. While Arabica, you could say in some areas, Arabica's 1 kilo that is fully dried at the mills. In some places I heard it was even at 14,000. So planting coffee can surely be rewarding. At least that's what I've been told and that's what I've seen. So now that you know a little bit of the coffee varieties that we have here in Uganda and also the Yamani, now I'm assuming you've also decided what kind of coffee you would want to plant, if at all you want to plant any kind of coffee. Now me, since I'm in the valley, I've planted Robusta coffee, the clonal variety. It's a variety of Robusta as well. Clonal is what I've planted since I'm in the valley. Now the next step would be the preparation of the land. Now, for instance, to fully do it right, you will have to spray your piece of land, the weeds, around 2 months in advance before you're preparing your land 2 months in advance. So you start by spraying the weeds. Now for me, it's like this because I was for work. I could not manage to catch up with the season properly, so I planted late. But I first sprayed the weeds, gave it a week, and then now planted. But if you to do it the right way, you would spray the weeds. Once they get dry, get burnt in, once the herbicide works, you're to dig. You're to remove all the weeds. After removing the weeds, you now go to digging of holes. So when you're digging holes, each hole has to be 2 feet wide, then 2 feet deep. It's 2 feet, 2 feet, 2 feet, 2 feet, then 2 feet deep. Then you dig them 10 feet away from each other. One hole here, 10 feet from one plant to the other, the center of the hole. 10 feet from one plant to the other. Now, as you're digging these holes, put in mind that not all the soil goes in one area. No, the loam, the good soil, this kind of soil, goes on its own, and then the subsoil, the reddish kind of soil, the brownish soil, goes on the other. Because we want our plant, when we're planting, we use the good soil, and then the subsoil will go on top of that. So when you're digging, you put the good soil one side, the subsoil the other side. You do not mix. So as you're planting, when you have manure during those 2 months, you get your good manure, you mix with the loam soil, the good kind of soil, then you put back in the hole. Then the subsoil will go on top. The good soil will mix with the manure, go down first. Then the subsoil will be on top. Now me, I did it like this. Why? Again, I was a bit late. So I had to use goat manure because at least goat manure isn't so bad. If you have cow dung, that is exactly why they tell you to prepare 2 months in advance, because cow dung is hot, temperature is hot when you plant and when you put it in. So you have to give it some good time for it to cool, so that the heat does not destroy your plant. Put your manure early, like a month earlier, even as you dig the holes, but usually a month earlier. You mix the manure with the good soil first, and then the subsoil on top. After preparing your land 2 months in advance, is now time for planting. Now the season of planting are September to October or March to February. That's when you can plant. But now before you go there, the selection of seedlings. Now, as you're buying seedlings, you should buy them from a reputable coffee nursery. A coffee nursery with a signpost just outside, clearly showing what it's all about. Now me, I bought one from the signpost. The signpost has CWD, coffee wilt disease resistant. Those are the varieties I was going to get. It has to have clear certification. Now I had to go to the UCDA website to get a supplier, and that's where I found this. I was trusting this supplier because I went to the website and I found their contact information. But buy your seedlings from a reputable coffee supplier. Now, as you're buying your coffee seedlings, bear in mind they have to have a few characteristics. For Robusta, it has to have at least 4 pairs of leaves. Assuming this is, since I've planted, I do not have any coffee seedlings with me, but it has to have at least 4 pairs of these. For Arabica, I'm not really sure because my concentration was on Robusta, but it has to have 4 pairs of true leaves. It also has to not have diseases, those millipedes, aphids. Its root system doesn't need to be overgrown to penetrate the bag. Its root system needs to be a bit intact, because if it's overgrown, it's clear indications that the root system, the taproot system, is damaged. Now me, it was a reputable source. He had all these certification, he had everything. He's still growing. So yeah. Then as you're going to plant, you'll just make a hole, like a small hole here. That's where you'll put your plant. Now me, I did it like this. The manure, I had to put it on top because I was rushing to plant. I didn't want the rains to leave me. But in the future, the coffee's roots will be feeding from the top. So I am not too worried about this kind of rushing, because its roots will be feeding from the top. Their roots don't go down. They feed from here. So since the manure is around, this plant is having a bright future. Of course, if you have mulch, you can also do that. But it's been a bit of a rainy time, so it's a bit hard for me to find mulch. And the one that's available is not the good kind of mulch. It doesn't work here. The grass I'm not really comfortable using. And that wraps up our coffee planting. I'll be updating with more videos as time goes on, the different stages of coffee and everything differently I will have done. Until then, I hope some of you out there are inspired to plant coffee, because coffee can be a very rewarding experience. At least that's what I've been told, and that's what I've seen. I've seen people, their lives change because of coffee. I hope some of you have been inspired to plant some coffee. I encourage you guys to please plant some coffee. Coffee can be giving you money for close to 60 years. Your generations and generations and generations will benefit from that coffee plantation. Do remember to subscribe, like, share, comment. Come say hi in my socials, my Instagram and TikTok. I also be posting a few videos there and here. I'll be happy to hear from you. I'll be happy to respond. Until then, keep farming, keep smiling, and enjoy your